Good morning, it's Doug, and this morning I woke up to a very cold house, and my 2-year-old York furnace here, this is a 96% efficient model, was cycling on and off, and the indicator light was flashing red 3 times when it would cycle off, and a little bit of research said that that's the pressure switch for the induction motor here. And so when I took the cover off, I let it run, and it has kind of a funny sound. It doesn't sound right, so I don't know if there's something in the fan or if the motor's going out. But I thought I'd give it a shot. Got power shut off to it now, and thankfully we have our fireplace. So the first thing I did was load up the fireplace and got my heater out of the garage that I use for projects out there and put it at the other end of the house, and that took the stress off, so I could make some coffee, so get the old thinker moving. So I'm going to take this apart and see if I can figure it out and avoid having a service call this morning. So. Alright, so it's a couple days later. I did a bunch of things that morning trying to figure out what was wrong. I did figure out what was wrong, so I'm going to back up right here and just cut to the chase so you guys can tell exactly what the problem was in case you have the same problem. First, I removed these 4 screws. The fourth one is opposite the top one, just behind the gas pipe. You can't see it in the video. And then removed the 2 clamps on the induction fan vent pipe. And once those clamps are removed, you can kind of slide it to the side, and that is where we found our problem. Alright, well, I don't know if you guys could tell what just happened, but when I pulled the induction motor housing, the induction fan housing, away from the vent that goes through my roof, a bunch of water came out. And I'm no HVAC tech, but I'm pretty sure there's not supposed to be water in there. There's actually a drain at the bottom of the fitting. So I can see why we have some water sitting in that pipe. This is my vent pipe through the roof. This is my main drain right here that drains water out of the plenum here. And this is the nipple where the drain for the vent pipe comes off and goes in here. And I don't know if you can tell from this angle, but this nipple is actually lower than the main drain. So it's a design thing. I don't understand why they would do it that way. It seems like you would want this to be your lowest point for draining. But maybe somebody knows why they didn't do it that way. I don't know. But seems like a bit of a design flaw just from the outsider's perspective. Because I ended up with water sitting in here, and there's actually some pretty nasty stuff. Looked like maybe the start of some mold, and this is only a 1.5-year old system sitting right here where that water's just been sitting. So like I said earlier, I was actually able to fix the issue. All of that water in the induction motor fan was causing the problem, was causing some impedance in the fan, which was causing it to show that code that there was a problem there, because the pressure sensor was sensing that there was something wrong in that system. And so when I put it back on, the sound that I was hearing before went away, because apparently what I was hearing was the fan trying to essentially water wheel all of that extra water in there. So that was the cause of the noise. It wasn't actually the motor going out. So if you're hearing a noise and you're having the same problem, maybe check for water in that area. Obviously, if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. Do so at your own risk. But possibly you can save yourself a service call. It could just be that simple. Obviously, if you have a bigger problem, like the motor itself is bad or something like that, that can cause the same issue and the same code will flash. But this was a simple one, and because of the design, with the drain being higher than the full drain, I wouldn't be surprised if there are others out there having the same issue. So if this helped you, let us know in the comments, and good luck. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.